The president believes we can have truly win-win agreements. America first is not America alone. I said in my remarks, when we grow, the world grows. When the world grows, we grow. We're part of it. We're part of a world economy, and the president believes that.
That was White House National Economic Council Director Gary Cohn giving us a preview of what to expect when President Trump arrives in Davos on Thursday morning for the World Economic Forum, traditionally kind of a safe space for globalists, you might say. The New York Times quoting, "It's hard to imagine an audience less receptive to Mr. Trump's America First agenda, yet whether he's seeking reconciliation or pitching for strongman status, his mere presence is a rebuke to the elites who got him badly wrong." That from the New York Times. Here now, Lisa Booth, Fox News contributor, and Wendy Osefo, political commentator. You know, I find this fascinating. This was sort of a, not last minute, but, you know, it wasn't really on the books for a long time. And the word is that Emmanuel Macron said, you know, everybody's going to be there. And that President Trump felt, maybe I want to be there too. And it's called Creating a Shared Future in a Fractured World. Wendy, do you think they were expecting him?
No, I don't think they were expecting him just by the sheer theme of what it's called. And quite frankly, you know, the president can come in and he can tout the economic numbers of the United States, you know, tout the stock market, all of that good stuff. But unfortunately, the WEF not only speaks to economics, it also speaks to human rights. And that will be the issue. This is a forum that talks about what is it like to be an immigrant, a day in the life, the Paris Climate Agreement, all things that this president has vehemently opposed. So we will see firsthand where this America first and everyone else last rhetoric takes the global stage. Yeah. And that may be problematic.
You know, America First, Lisa, is such a powerful motto, right? Whether you love it or hate it, no one will ever look at this administration and say, well, what were they about? You know, what did they stand for? It couldn't be more clear. And with the record that he has now, especially economically, he walks in there in a fairly good position, doesn't he?
Absolutely. And to your first point about Macron, it sounds like even presidents get peer pressured into doing things.
He doesn't like to miss out. He has FOMO.
No, he doesn't like to miss out. But he should be there. And he's talking about tax cuts and the law that he recently passed that has had a huge impact on growth here in the United States and globally as well. The IMF issued a report ahead of the World Economic Forum stating that they expect global growth to be around 3.9% in 2018. As well as 2019, and they accredit the tax cut law for roughly half of that growth. So, I mean, that is huge. So it's not just the United States that is benefiting from this economic boom. It's also the world.
Yeah, and there's the tariff issue that came out today as well. The United States slapping tariffs on imports of solar panels and also washing machines. And when you dig into it, it's not particularly onerous, but it does send a very strong message, Wendy, of America first. Like, you know, we want to come, we want to talk to you guys, we want to talk about trade and partnering in different ventures, the president said, but it's always going to be in our, what we feel is in our best interest. What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that, and I think that that's his strong point, actually, is when he comes in and if he sticks to the script and he continues to talk about economics, it'll be great. But what's going on now is there are already people outside protesting. There's more people who are predicted that they will come to protest his arrival. So that's going to be the issue. I don't think that bothers him, do you?
Yeah, I don't think he cares about protesting.
I don't think that that's what's going to bother him, but I think what's going to be really interesting is he's scheduled to meet with the chairman of the African Union. If you remember, on January 12th, the African Union issued a statement saying they want an apology from the president for his comments where he called certain countries in Africa asshole countries. So that'll be interesting to see how that exchange turns out.
But it also sounds like you don't want to talk about any of the economic successes that we've had as a result of the Trump administration and his policies, including the tax cut law. And as I mentioned, that's a huge story. That's going to be a huge story around his speech, talking about the benefits of deregulation, talking about the benefits of changing our tax code, and the great impact that has had on the economy, both here in the U.S. as well as globally, as well as the confidence that's instilled on CEOs in the United States as well as globally as well.
You know, I'm going to do a story right after this break, actually, about the leader from Uganda and what he had to say about President Trump, which I thought was pretty interesting. Also, just to mention on the way out, J.P. Morgan investing $20 billion in the United States. They obviously do a ton of international work as well, 20,000 jobs, a lot of new branches, and they say it's thanks to the tax cuts. So we just see story after story like that, which is remarkable.
I guess if this is Armageddon, then bring it on.
If we stick to the economics, he's good. But once we shift to the, civil human rights issue, that's where the problem will arise.
All right. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Lisa. Good to see you both.
Thank you, Martha.
So the battle for